In this video, we're going to create a new type of trap, and that one's going to be this little, what do you call it, spinning blade that follows a path. So in this video, we're going to use some pretty simple code for it. The code is just example code I got off the Godot website to move the object along an offset. And we're going to have a look at how this little thing is created. Similar to the other ones, we're going to make them in their own scene and then allow them to be created multiple times. So in order to get this one to work, there's a few little tricks that we're going to look at later on, and we'll get right into it. So in the first instance, we are going to create a 2D scene, and this one is going to be called Spinning Blade. Now, as a child of that, I'm going to add in a sprite node, and as a child of that, I'm going to add in an animation player. And I'm also going to add in a path 2D. And then as a child of path 2D, I'm going to add path follow 2D. This one here. Now I'm actually going to bring this sprite down into here. And then the sprite is going to have an area node on it. Area 2D. And that is going to have a collision shape on it. Now that collision shape we can go ahead and set straight to a circle shape like that. Now there is a new sprite set that I've used because you may have looked at this already and figured there's no sprite set for a spinning blade in this Metroidvania one. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this one. It's called Pixel Adventure. It is by Pixel Frog on itch.io, pixelfrog-assets.itch.io. If you look up Pixel Adventure, you'll be able to get it. You can throw me some money if you feel like using this commercially in the future, or you can click just take me to the downloads, and you can see it's got this spinning blade in here. It's also got a bunch of other cool assets and a few different tile sets. It's got a swinging thing here as well, a few different types as well. So you may be able to look at these screenshots and get some ideas of things. We are going to do this kind of falling trap as well in one of the next couple of videos. So the next few videos are just different traps and things that are going to annoy the player. So let's go ahead. I've already downloaded that, and I've already imported the sprite, which is called off. There is one that's it's actually the on one that we want, not the off one. We want the one that's called on. So I'm going to go ahead and go to sprite, and we're going to put the on into there as the texture. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprites. So we'll say horizontal frames is set to 8. So we've got that there. The collision shape, I'm going to bring it up just a little bit smaller than the blade, just so that the collisions don't feel cheap in the game. And then we will go ahead and go to our animation player. So animation player, we're going to add a new animation here. It's going to be called spin, and it's going to be 0.8 frames. And actually I'm going to change this, or I may not. Well, let's see, because I think there is a way that, we can change the speed here, so that's all good. So let's go ahead and go to our sprite, keyframe this, just reset it back to 0, and then keyframe in those 8 different frames. Alright, so I can hit this loop button and see this is what it looks like. It's a little bit slow though, so we can turn the animation speed up to maybe 3, and that looks nice and smooth, rotating that way. If I turn it to -3, does it play backwards? Yes, it does. So that's what we want, because then it's going in that way. I know in the video and the sprite it's going the other way. It just seems to look better going that way. Okay, so with the path 2D though, we're going to actually leave that. We're not going to do anything with it here because it's not going to matter right now. Instead, what we want to do is we want to add some code to the spinning blade here. Now I've actually already got this code written because, and I'm just going to bring it in. So let's go ahead and look for blade trap. We'll save this into scenes. I'm going to call it spinning blade. My other one was called blade trap, but you'll see how this works. So I'm going to open up the code for it. we'll add some code to this one, spinning blade, and I will take this code here. So this is pretty much the only bit of code that we need. Got an error here, so let's just close that. If you see these ones without titles, you can just close them. In the ready, we are going to go $animation player.play, and then play the spin animation, easy. And then we'll say func underscore process delta. And then in here, it's going to be $path2d, so that's going to get this node, and then path2d follow, and then .offset. So what's going to happen is it's going to offset everything that's attached to this path follow 2D along the path. Of course, we don't have a path yet because it's going to be different for every object. And we're going to make the speed 50. So what we could do at the top here is go export var export int var follow speed, and then equals, we'll just set the default to 50 plus equals follow speed multiplied by delta, or else it will go really fast throughout this process function. So this is going to offset path follow.2d along the path. Okay, so let's go ahead and add it to our scene. I'll delete the other one that's in world, that's already there. Blade trap, I'll delete that. And I'll bring in the swinging blade, not the swinging blade, the spinning blade. Here it is, spinning blade. And I'll bring that in, and I'm going to position it somewhere. I'll position it on this one, so I'll do what I did with the previous one. I am going to put this behind the tile map though. I'm actually going to put the tile map right at the bottom of everything for now, so that it actually comes behind these. They look like they're coming out of it. The spikes will come out of the ground. You won't be able to see them. And you can play around with the order of things here. You may want to have the tile map, like the traps above it, so you can see where the spikes are. It's up to you. I'm going to put it like this for now. And then this one here, I'm going to go to it. I'm going to click on editable children. And this is what I need to do. Actually, I'll do this part first. Okay, so I'm going to click on path 2D here. And at the top, I'm going to add the nodes. So I'm going to add an empty point. I'm going to add it. The first node should be where the blade starts. Then I'm just going to add nodes at these other locations. If I want to be absolutely perfect, I could zoom in and get them. When you're at the last one and you want to click back here, you can click this button up here that says close curve. And then when I hit play, it should hopefully follow that curve. I want to see what happens when it gets to here. Yeah, it goes back to the end. So we've got that there. Now let's say I want to put in another spinning blade, and I want it to go from here to here and back and forwards. So what I'm going to do here is I will put in another spinning blade like so. And I'll bring it down to here. But you'll notice straight away that it's already got a path on it. So how do I make it so I can change this path? Because if I change this, it's actually going to change the path on this one. So what I need to do, editable children, I need to right click on it and make it local. Okay, so what we've done here is we've got an instance that is that we can kind of replicate again and again, but then we're going to make it local to the scene. So this one here, let's just check and see, because I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. And if I make a mistake here, it'll be all good. So I'm just going to, I can't actually delete this, but I can get rid of the curve over here, clear that. And we'll just test to see that this actually works. Okay, so that one's still following its path. And then we're going to go ahead and add a new curve. So add a point in empty space. I'm going to add one there. And then, oh, can't do that. What I need to do is add a curve, new curve, and then I can add the points in empty space. So I can put that there, and then there, down there, there, and then I'm going to send it back. So I'm just going to click on points again, pretty close, and then finally close that curve. So if I hit play now, I should have two different paths. Okay, so that one's going along there, that one goes up there and back, and so on. Now, if I want to increase the speed on this, I can click on the spinning blade. I can say follow speed. I can make this one 100, and that's going to be fine. The other one's not going to change because they're local to the scene now. So that one's going much faster. One other thing I will want to do is, and back in here I'm going to do it, on path 2D, or path follow, I want to untick the button that says rotate. Okay, so the rotate button, if I untick that, then what it will do is it won't kind of do a glitchy animation because it's actually rotating the whole spinning blade while it's doing the animation. So the animation rotates as well. We don't want that. So, oops, I've hit the wrong button there. So we'll go back to here. And there we go. Now remember that this whole, and you can see that those spikes, they're all behind everything now. Remember this whole scene, I've got all this space to design it, and that's only because I put it at 1280 by 720, I think, because I didn't want to use 1920 by 720. Sometimes when I go full screen, you can't actually see what I'm doing. At least this is the way it works at work. It won't capture the screen. And I want to be able to make sure that I can kind of pull this to the side and show you things down the bottom. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Bring all that back. Where's Godot gone? There it is. Okay, let's open that up. And there we go. So we've got that little trap. That would have been bad for me then. And one of the things I probably need to sort out is variable height jumps. That may be something I look at in the future. So if you let go of jump, it stops your height, or the longer you leave it, the higher you jump. Those might be things that we look at in the future. But now we've got a moving spike trap. The next kind of thing we're going to do is falling spikes or falling blocks. You'll be able to do the same thing for both. And that's pretty much it. So that's this video. Keep an eye out for the next one. It won't be more than a few days away, if that. And I'll see you there.